Hi everyone, and thanks for joining us today for WordStream's webinar, Mastering Quality Score, the Key to AdWords ROI. My name's Chris, and I'll be your moderator for today's presentation. For today's agenda, we have some great PPC insight lined up for you. Our experts on the presentation will do a brief review of the paid search landscape and shed some light on why PPC is hard. They'll cover what quality score is and why you should care about it. They'll give you tips on what you can do now to save money and get better results from your paid search efforts. And lastly, we'll give out our special offer for attendees, and we'll have a quick Q&A session at the end of the presentation. To introduce our speakers for today's presentation, we have on the webinar Elliott, Reid, and Erin Sagin. Elliott is a search marketing analyst here at WordStream, and Erin is a premier PPC consultant here at WordStream. Both Elliott and Erin have several years of experience helping small to medium-sized businesses navigate the search marketing landscape. Both Elliott and Erin are Google AdWords certified, and both of them are also frequent writers for the WordStream blog. So before we get started, we'd just like to ask a couple poll questions just to get an idea of who we have on the webinar today. So I'll launch those poll questions now. So the first question we have here is, do you know how quality score is calculated? And your choices are yes, no, or what is quality score? So it looks like 69% of the people on the webinar today voted yes, so they know how quality score is calculated. 30% said no, and 1% said what's quality score. So the people on the call today, I mean, they have a basic understanding of what quality score is and how it's calculated, so I think that's great.
Yeah, definitely, and we'll be going into this in more detail, certainly. But it's good to see that a lot of people have a good, solid understanding of quality score, and hopefully we can help you to learn a little bit more about what you can do to improve it.
Next poll question here is, do you actively manage your account with quality score in mind? And your choices are yes or no.
So it sounds like we have quite a diverse crowd here. About 69% are familiar with quality score, 39% aren't. So we're really excited to really kind of jump in here, talk a little bit more about quality score, what it's comprised of. It's really important to understand how quality score is calculated, what are the different components of quality score, because it's almost impossible to fix something if you really don't even know how it's built. So that's what we're going to dive into here right after these poll questions.
It looks like 74% said yes, that they're actively managing their account with quality score in mind, and 26% said no. So Erin and Elliott, are these surprising results to you guys?
Well, yeah, I mean, it sounds like quite a few people on the call are pretty familiar with quality score and are actively managing their account, which is good. So that was a little bit above what we were expecting to see here.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm very happy to see that. I think for, what was it, 26% or so that said no?
39. Yep, 26%.
Okay, so for that 26%, I hope we can kind of shift quality score to the forefront for you. It's something that's going to impact almost all of your PPC goals, so we really want to prove to you how important it is. All right.
Awesome.
So
thanks, guys. Yeah, let me hand things over to Elliott, and we'll get started with the webinar.
Great. Thank you so much for that introduction, Chris, and running the polls. Before we really dive in here, I got to point out that Erin likes ice cream too.
Nobody told me we were doing fun pictures. I look like such a square in that one.
She would rather have 3, maybe 4 ice cream cones.
For sure.
But before we really dive into quality score, let's take a quick landscape of the search engine in general. It's really, really important to note, guys, that this is a dynamic environment. Not everybody really realizes that every single day there's 2 billion search queries performed in Google every day. And what's even more interesting is 20% of those queries are new, unique, never seen before by Google. So as the account managers, you guys out there in webinar land, the ones that are managing these accounts, this is an important statistic because it's telling you that the language is always changing, that people are combining new words that are typing for new, or looking up new things and recent events that are related to your products, your services that you're trying to sell. So it's always important to kind of use this information and continuously monitor your AdWords account and definitely keep quality score in mind as you're adding new keywords and new negative keywords into your account. We're going to talk more about that and why it's important. Awesome. So quickly, before we dive into it, let's define quality score, what quality score is. So 69% of you said, yes, you're familiar with quality score, but let's really dive into kind of what quality score means, why it's important, and then later on in this presentation, Erin's going to talk a little bit about how you can really improve quality score, what steps you can take. So quality score is basically how relevant you are. When we really boil this down, it's how relevant your AdWords account is structured, the keywords, and the ad copy to every single potential search query out there that's related to your business or your product or your service. It is a score. It's a score of 1 to 10, 10 obviously being better than 1. So we want everybody up to a 10 score as high as possible. Anything to add about that, Erin, before I move on?
No, I think that's a good overview. Yeah.
It's definitely the most important metric in your AdWords account, and I hope after this webinar everybody will be laser focused on this metric. So let's further define it. Cool. So before we actually get into quality score, we need to understand a little bit about the PPC ecosystem. And there's 3 major players here in this PPC ecosystem. It's really first important to understand this because we want to make sure we know who everybody is focused on and what's really going on here. So as you can see on the slide here, there's 3 components. There's Google with their search engine that's generating 2 billion searches every single day. We have the customers out there. These are the people that are using Google to find anything and everything they want, and the advertiser. You guys are the advertisers. Now, it's really important to realize that Google is 100% focused on the customer. It's all about the customers. Google wants these customers here in the bottom right-hand corner to be incredibly happy. They want the customers to find whatever they're looking for with one search, so they continue to come back to Google to make Google the largest search engine in the world. Then we have you guys, the advertisers. The advertisers are out there wanting to tap into that 2 billion search a day market and want those customers to visit their website, buy products and services and whatnot. So you guys go to Google and say, hey, Google, can we market on AdWords? And Google's going to say, sure you can, but. And it's really, really important to understand this but, and this is kind of what it's all about. Google has created a bunch of rules, and you have to play by those rules to be successful. And really, those rules are all about relevancy. It's all about being relevant to your potential customer out there for whatever specific product or service they're looking for. We're going to talk a lot about relevancy throughout this whole call. I'm going to kind of break it down and why that's important, and then Erin's going to talk about steps how you can improve it. Essentially, your quality score is a grade of relevancy. So the big takeaway here is whenever you take any action in your account, you want to make a change, ask yourself, is it relevant? Is it specific, significant to my potential customers?
Yep. I think Elliott makes a good point. I mean, Google is hands down, easily the most trusted website or the most trusted search engine out there. And the reason they are so popular is because people believe that they're going to get good results. Google controls those organic results. Google knows exactly how those are going to be presented and ensures that that they're going to be a good fit for their customers. But they have to put a little faith in the advertiser to ensure that the paid search results are also a good fit for their searchers. So quality score is really their way of encouraging you guys to create a good, relevant experience for searchers.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you so much. So before we kind of dive into everything, let's talk about the different components and how quality score is calculated, and that's what we're going to talk about now. So this is these are the major 3 components to quality score. The first thing that jumps out at me is the click-through rate. Then the next most important area is ad text relevancy, and then landing page relevancy. There are definitely some other factors that are important into this conversation, but in terms of kind of keeping it high level and simple, we're going to talk about these 3 major areas. Basically, because these are kind of some of the easiest areas you can control, we want you guys to be focused on these 3 areas, and that's kind of what we're going to further define. Erin, do you have any kind of additional comments about this?
Nope, we'll be going into this in way more detail. I don't want anybody to get hung up on those other factors. I will address them at the end, but these three that you see, kind of the larger pieces of the pie, are the ones you really want to hone in on because those are the ones that you're in control of.
Definitely, definitely. Cool. So basically, this is a really just, what we're going through right now is a good example of kind of what a relevant ad looks like. I always tell the people I'm working with, think of a search query as a question. Your customers are out there asking a question about a specific product. And your ad, the ad copy you write needs to be the best answer for that question. And then the last major component is landing page relevancy. It's pretty simple, self-explanatory. If I click on, say, this ad in the upper right-hand corner, men's size 9 shoes, am I going to go to a landing page that actually has men's size 9 shoe on it rather than, for in this case, Zappos homepage? So Google just want to make sure that you're helping their customers. Again, it's all about the customers. Find exactly what they're looking for. Cool. So now that we know how quality score is calculated at a pretty high level, let's talk about the three major impacts of quality score. As you can see over here on the right-hand side, quality score actually impacts three major components of your account. It talks about, it impacts your ad placement, so that's where your ads show up on the search result page. It impacts your ad impressions, basically when your ads show up. And also, and probably most important for some of you guys out there, is your cost per click, or essentially how much you're paying for every single one of those clicks out there. So this is why we here really focus on quality score. It's very, very important because it has some of the most important impacts to your AdWords account. So we're going to go through kind of these three areas right now. So here we go. We're looking at a quick example of a search result. The main point here is all the studies we've looked at have really shown us that everybody is looking in this upper section and this upper right-hand section over here. Your quality score will help your ads show up in these upper areas right here, and that's what it's all about, getting more clicks, more visibility, getting more people to find you guys. This is really called ad rank, and we're going to talk about how ad rank is calculated. Okay, so how does quality score affect your ad position? It's really all about ad rank. Ad rank is calculated by your max bid times your quality score. Again, there's that quality score in here. So let's focus on this example. I really want to highlight the first two advertisers here. We have advertiser 1 and advertiser 2. Because this clearly highlights how important your quality score is in this ad rank. Notice that advertiser 1 has a maximum bid of 2, while advertiser 2 has a maximum bid of 4. So that's basically saying that advertiser 1 doesn't have the budget or isn't as willing to pay as much as advertiser 2. However, look at his quality score, the next column over. He has a quality score of 10. Basically, he's an incredibly relevant advertiser. He's doing everything right. He has a great click-through rate. His ad text is super relevant. It's very specific, very targeted. And again, we're going to talk about how you can improve those two areas. And whenever someone clicks on his ad, they're going to go straight to what that customer is looking for. So Google has rewarded this advertiser with a great quality score of 10. Now, let's look at advertiser number 2. His quality score is a 4. That suggests that he has very generic ads. His ad might take them to their home page rather than a specific landing page about that product or service. And so therefore, his quality score isn't as good as advertiser 1. Now what's most important here is what that ends up, or what that results in as an ad rank. 2 times 10 is 20. So advertiser number 1's ad rank is 20, while advertiser number 2, his ad rank is 4 because it's 4 times 4. Pretty simple stuff, right?
Yeah, and I think this is pretty awesome. If you're the main the main kind of people that I work with tends to be small business owners. And if you're a smaller business owner and you're looking at this, I think this shows that quality score is a huge area of opportunity for you. You might not be able to compete with the big dogs in your industry. You might not be able to compete with the Walmart and the Staples in terms of price, but think what you can do in terms of quality score. If you spend the time to create this highly relevant targeted account, you can compete with those larger advertisers. And I don't think there's a lot of types of marketing where you really have this opportunity. This is kind of one of the great things about PPC. They level the playing field.
Most definitely. This is why Erin and I really love our job, because we get to work with business owners that are just getting into it. They got a really cool, exciting new product, but they haven't been around like Target's been around forever, and they just can't compete on dollars, but they can compete on quality by doing the fundamentals right, and that's what we're here today to discuss. Cool. So the next really important factor is how quality score affects your cost per click. Basically, the key takeaway here is there is an impact. The higher your quality scores, the more you're actually going to be discounted. Google really considers poor quality scores or advertisers with poor quality scores as a little bit of a liability. They see that, hey, a customer might click on that ad, not find exactly what they're looking for, and therefore might have a bad experience. So they're actually going to charge advertisers with a low quality score a premium to use AdWords and to market their products and services on AdWords. Now, the flip side of that is if you have a great quality score, Google's going to reward you for doing such a great job of making, again, their customers, the searchers out there, happy, so they'll come back and continue to make Google the largest search engine in the world. All right, guys. So now that we've kind of done a high-level overview of what quality score is, the different components that make up quality score, what can you do? That's what the rest of this presentation is going to talk a little bit about. Erin's going to go into some details here on different steps that you can do, what you should be looking at when you log into your AdWords account, and definitely some food for thought after you leave this conversation.
All right, thanks, Elliott. So now that Elliott's leveled the playing field and made sure everybody understands the components of quality score and the importance of quality score, let's look at how you can improve your quality scores. So there are three components here that we want to examine. Click-through rate, as you can see, the largest piece of pie, the most important thing to focus on. So we'll go through some examples of how to improve your click-through rate. Then we'll jump into ad text relevancy and landing page relevancy. I think one of the awesome things that we're looking at here, the majority of quality score is under your control. It's not some crazy black box theory. Google is not assigning random, arbitrary numbers as their quality score. They have a pretty simplistic formula that you can see here that they're using to figure out how to score you. So it's definitely, a good quality score is definitely within your reach. They say that knowing is half the battle. So to begin this road to improving your quality score, you need to take a look and see what they are. Your quality score is always going to be assigned on the keyword level. So if you hop into your AdWords account and visit the keyword tab, scroll over the status of each keyword. There you'll see the numerical value of your quality score. And Google even goes so far as to tell you why you're getting that number. So they look at those three top components and tell you whether you're above average, average, or below average. If you're above average or average, your quality score won't really be negatively impacted by the item in question. But if you're below average, that's a huge red flag. That means you really need to hop in and examine that item. There are going to be some situations, I just want to warn you, where you may see no information here, no number assigned, and it will say site suspended. That indicates that your site doesn't comply with AdWords advertising policies, so Google doesn't score you at all. Instead, your keywords or ads are not going to show. So it's important, if you're seeing that site suspended status, dive deeper and figure out what's going on. Call your Google rep.
Hey, Erin, when's the best time you should check this out when you log into your account or when you're managing this on a weekly basis or daily basis? Is it the first thing you do, middle, end?
You know, that's a really good question. I think it depends on the advertiser. It depends on their goals. I usually look at it when I'm trying to diagnose a problem. So if I know that I'm really frustrated because my CPCs are too high, well, this is a huge component of how much you're spending. So I look at the area where I'm trying to tackle, where I'm seeing those high cost per clicks, evaluate my quality scores, and see if that's one simple thing I can change to fix them. So it's really specific to your account, and I know, we do consulting with a number of our clients, so we can help them dive in and look at it. Totally depends on the account.
Gotcha. Cool. Guys, real quick, if you guys are a little confused on where you can find your quality score or what's going on with your quality score, we just want to let you know that there is a quick and easy way. You can actually do it right now. There is a quick free audit on our website that shows you an impression-weighted quality score. You might have to scroll down a little bit once you get your report, but it's a fantastic tool that quickly, in a few minutes, if not seconds, does a quick analysis of your entire AdWords account, and it will show you what your quality score is across all areas. It's key to note that it's actually impression weighted. Shows you where the majority of your impressions, what that quality score is, so you can see kind of how well the bulk of your ads are doing.
Mm-hmm. And I think it's also important to point out, Google doesn't provide a ton of quality score analysis. You don't. You only see it on the keyword level. You're not seeing like the average roll up upon multiple groups. So I think that this is a really good tool to kind of help you get a better understanding of quality score, see it from maybe slightly outside of what Google wants you to see. All right. So let's tackle click-through rate first. As we were saying, this is one of, hands down, the most important things you can do to improve your quality score. So the first thing you need to do is determine whether or not you have a good click-through rate, which keywords you need to focus to improve your click-through rate for. Google does evaluate your click-through rate based on an ad's position. So as Elliott pointed out earlier in the presentation, if your ad is appearing at the top of the page, either in those top 3 or over on the right-hand side, it's likely to retain more clicks than those ads further down the page. No surprise there, you're getting more eyeballs, you're at the forefront, people are noticing your ad, you're getting more clicks. Therefore, Google is going to expect ads with higher positions to have a higher click-through rate. So when they're evaluating your quality score, they take a look at your position. If you're always showing up in position number 1 and you have a good click-through rate, awesome. But if you're in position number 1 and you're even down at a 2% or 1%, Google is going to look upon that negatively. So they're weighting it based on your position. It's important to point out that click-through rates do fluctuate based on the industry. So what's considered a good click-through rate for one industry may not be the same for another. But this is kind of a general set of rules most people can follow. Position number 1, you're aiming for a 6 or above, and then as you go down the line, slightly lower click-through rates. So if you have looked at your click-through rates, you know that you're struggling a bit, step back and assess your account structure. This is so important. You want to build a good account from the get-go. If you have a poor structure and you don't address it, it's kind of like building on something that doesn't work. It's going to fall apart in the end. So take a step back, look at your account. The system you want to follow. Each ad group should contain semantically related keywords. This is going to allow you to create super relevant ad text and also compelling ad copy. So if you take a look at the example up here and you look at my bad ad group, the keywords are fairly generic. They range from shorts to pants, all the way down to dresses and t-shirts. So it's a really generic set of keywords. I'm forced to write a really generic ad. And quite frankly, if someone is looking for pants and then they see an ad that says buy clothing online, they're not really going to be compelled to click. They want to see buy pants online. If you go the extra mile and create a super relevant ad group, like the one over on the right-hand side, it's really, really targeted. Blue jean shorts, cut-off jean shorts cheap. You see, these are all semantically related terms. They follow the same structure. That allows us to write an ad that's super relevant to those terms. Another thing to think about is you want to make sure that you're writing compelling ad copy. So you see, all of these ads include free shipping, anything that you have to differentiate you from your competitors, any call to action that you can encourage people to take the plunge and come to your landing page is important to include here.
This is definitely one of the areas I see small business owners and advertisers out there alike really struggle with. I don't think people understand or really realize how detailed you really need to get your ad structure. This is really, really important to kind of get down into the weeds, so to speak, and be product specific. And what's really cool about this is it's going to impact not just one, but both of the largest factors in your quality score. It's going to impact ad text relevancy because you're able to put in more specific relevant keywords in that actual ad copy, so you're aligning with that search query, and that is going to lead to more clicks, and it's going to improve your click-through rate. So this is a very important topic. I see people not getting down and detailed as much as they should, and I hope you guys take away that importance.
And I think Elliott makes a good point. Like, you want to be so detailed that sometimes you have really teeny tiny ad groups. You might only have 3 or 4 keywords in your ad group, but as long as they're super, super specific and related to one another, and therefore you're able to create an ad that really encompasses those keywords, then you have a slam dunk situation, right? Somebody's looking for something, they see an ad that's giving them exactly what they're searching for. That ad is the ad they're going to click on. So another thing to think about is adding negative keywords to your account to improve your click-through rate. So there is absolutely 0 sense in showing your ad to someone who you know is an unqualified searcher. If you look at this example here, let's say we're selling men's leather shoes, size 9, if you will. If somebody searches used men's leather shoes size 9, they are not worth an impression for me. Why bother showing my ad if I don't sell used shoes? I sell new shoes. So if you set used as a negative, you're going to eliminate that bad traffic. You won't bother showing impressions or even run the risk of somebody clicking and costing you money if they're not good traffic. So eliminate those negatives. Take those out, ensure that you're not showing for those, and you will automatically improve your click-through rates and cut out wasted spend.
This is really, really important as well. This is your way to control Google. You're essentially telling Google, I don't sell this product, I don't do this service, never show my ad for that. And keep in mind, Google's out there going to try to match your ads to any and everything that's somewhat related to your business. So you need to control Google with negative keywords. It's going to impact your budget, and it's definitely going to impact your quality score.
And another cool thing to think about, I mean, you know your business inside out, right? You know what kind of searches you're getting that aren't relevant to you. And if you don't, take some time to look at your search query report. That's a great way to find negative, great way to see what you're showing for that you really don't want to continue showing for and take action. This is also something that you can do throughout the time that you're managing your PPC account. It's not something you're going to set up in the beginning and you'll never have to set up a negative keyword again. This should be a consistent practice that you're doing over many months.
And remember, 2 billion searches a day. We already talked about that. So the keywords you see coming into your account today are not going to look like the keywords you see coming into your account 30 days from now. The language changes every day. This is something you have to continue to do. And again, this is another area I see a lot of people struggle with because they set up their account and then they just let it run and they don't monitor it or optimize it or continue to add new keywords or negative keywords.
Another thing to think about as you're adding keywords to your account or building your account from the start, try to incorporate those mid to long tail keywords that really reflect your user intent.
Erin, can you define mid and long tail keywords?
Yes. So as you can see at the top, men's shoes, I would call that a head term. It's 1 to 2 terms, very broad, that doesn't really let us know what somebody's searching for. A mid to long tail keyword is usually about 3 to 5 terms. More than 5 terms, probably has low search volume and is not worth adding, but it's these longer tail keywords that really show exactly what somebody is looking for. The great thing about these terms is if somebody takes the time to type in a longer term, they know exactly what they want. They're more likely to be further down that process of the conversion funnel, right? They know what they want, they're looking for something specific, and you want to bid on that keyword and then show them an ad that offers them that precise thing that they're looking for. The cool thing about these longer tail keywords, they're significantly less competitive because a lot of people aren't taking the time to add them to their account. Because they're less competitive, they tend to be cheaper. So it's really a win-win situation. It's cheaper and you're getting that better, more qualified traffic. Okay?
Awesome.
All right, this is my favorite part. This is for those of you who feel like you're doing pretty well. Maybe you've got your basics down. The next step you want to take is add ad extensions. This is something, it used to be kind of a super bells and whistles. A lot of experts were doing it. This is something that's now becoming commonplace in this industry. And it's a great tactic because it's so easy to set up. Ad extensions allow you to create larger, more informative ads at no additional cost. And because these ads with extensions take up more real estate on that search engine results page, they're more prominent than that simple text ad that you typically see. Because they're more prominent, they definitely draw more clicks. They're available in a lot of different formats. So as you can see in the lower right-hand corner, those are site link extensions. They allow you to add additional links to your ad text and send people to more specific landing pages. Above that, we have image extensions. This is actually currently in beta, so you may not have seen it or you may not see the option to set it up in your AdWords account. We have gotten it for a few of our clients. For those who have Premier Consulting, we have a partnership with Google that lets us sign up for some of their betas. But these image extensions are awesome for those of you who might sell something like you can see here, a luxury vacation, something where you can really paint a picture that will demonstrate more to your searchers than just basic text. And then finally, on the left-hand side, you see your call extensions. These are a must-have for those of you who are small local businesses that take phone calls, that want people to give you a call. Give them the ability to do that with a call extension. As I was saying before, these are easy to set up. You set them up once, and you don't even have to think about it for, like, God knows, maybe the next 6 months. Another awesome thing about these extensions is they're not pricey. Google is going to charge you the same as they would charge a click on your ad if you click on the extension. So I think it's kind of a win-win, and it's definitely something you should spend time to set up.
If you have any questions, let us know. We can definitely help with that.
There are so many ad extensions. This is just a brief sampling of them. There are plenty more out there that will, work for different types of businesses. All right. So the next thing you want to think about is ad text relevancy. And this one is easy. We started to touch on it earlier. But essentially, you want to ensure that your ad copy is aligned with the ad group theme. So you want to have those small, tightly knit ad groups that contain semantically related terms. That allows you to quickly create ads that are reflective of your keyword grouping. If your ad groups are broad, you're creating that generic ad text that no one is clicking on. But if your text is, or if your ad group is specific, you can really include those key terms in your ad text. Now, I recommend using your most impressed upon terms in your ad text. The most popular keywords out there are the ones you want to ensure are prominent in the ad because they'll speak to the most people. Google's looking for that keyword density in your ad text. So the more keywords you can include while still creating a compelling, easy-to-read ad, the better. Another thing to think about is the display URL. Not sure if everybody out there is familiar with the display URL. You can see it right here. Sometimes it displays at the bottom of your ad, sometimes right underneath the headline. This is a vanity URL. It doesn't have to be your actual landing page. It just has to have the same domain as your landing page. Whatever you include after that domain, so as you can see here, Jean Shorts, is totally at your discretion. I recommend incorporating a keyword behind that domain, and that will really just prove to people that you're sending them to a landing page that's offering them exactly what they're looking for. So take advantage of that. You'll up your keyword density, and you'll prove to people that your ad is worth clicking on.
Very quick fix here. It's a great tip, and I hope everybody takes a look at this, and it's easy to do.
Definitely. All right. Oh, I didn't realize we had this in here. This is a really, really good example of how you want to write your ad. If you look at it here, you want to start with a headline that has an eye-catching top keyword. Include a keyword-rich description of your offer. Line 2 should have a call to action that drives users to click. If you tell people what you want them to do before they click on your ad, they are 10 times more likely to do it once they hit your landing page. Basic psychology. Down below, your display URL, that's where you want to manipulate that URL to add a keyword. And then finally, just the destination, which is the URL of your landing page.
Cool.
Oh, another thing to point out here, you see down below, and this may be new to some of you who aren't familiar with enhanced campaigns, but you can now create ads that are specific to device. So if you have something that's running on mobile phones, which many of you probably do, create those mobile-specific ads to really feature mobile users. All right. And then the final piece of the quality score puzzle is optimizing your landing pages. And let me tell you, we see this as one of the biggest problems with a lot of our clients' PPC accounts. There's no sense in spending all this time pushing people through to a landing page if you're not sending them somewhere that they're likely to convert. So let's talk about what makes a landing page strong. So you want to ensure that the purpose of your site is clear and matches the expectations set in your ad text. As you can see here, if your headline, which should be nice looking, matches what you're demonstrating through your ad, you're going to give people a relevant experience. Any information provided on the site should incorporate similar language to the information within your ad group, so include those keywords. In the past, there was this theory that you could stuff your landing page with keywords and Google would automatically assume it was relevant. This is no longer true. So you don't just want to focus on throwing a ton of keywords on there. You want to ensure that the content is relevant, but also interesting, unique, and capturing your visitors' interest. Google bases your landing page quality score on post-click metrics. So they're looking at how much time that searcher is spending on your site, how many pages they view, and a couple additional metrics. So again, all comes back to user experience.
This is another good point to talk about account structure, which we already covered, but I just want to reiterate it. If you spend all that time, or let me back up. If you actually have a very generic ad and an ad group that has all different ideas in it, it can only go to a very, very generic landing page. Again, if we segment this out and you create specific blue jean ad copy with a blue jean shorts ad copy with blue jean shorts keywords in it, then you can take them to a landing page that is all about blue jean shorts rather than your just generic landing page.
Mm-hmm. So really just sticking with that ad group theme all the way to where you're delivering people. So our marketing team is by far the most knowledgeable about landing pages. They built our website. So I asked them to give me some of their top ideas to create a good, strong landing page. So here are their suggestions. You want to ensure your main headline is carried through to the ad, from the ad text. Include a supportive sub-headline. Prove what's in it for the searcher. So give them those benefits that they're going to receive for signing up for your service right up front. You can include trust symbols. For example, if you're endorsed by another business that has a good standing in your community, definitely include the symbol of that company on your page, follow through with your call to action. So the call to action in your ad text should also appear on your landing page. You can include images, videos, anything to just kind of beef up that landing page and make it interesting to your searcher. And remember, always keep the most important information above the fold where your searchers can see it. All right. So as you design your landing pages, you're working on creating something that's organized, easy to navigate, not overwhelming. Another thing to consider is where you're sending people. So if you're sending somebody to a desktop landing page, you're going to give them a different experience than if you're sending them to a mobile landing page. Now that Google made the shift to enhance and campaigns are targeted to all devices, it's really critical that you take a look at what's happening as people are appearing on mobile devices. Another thing to think about is what your landing pages look like on tablets. Tablets are now looped in with desktops, so if you're giving people a bad experience on tablet, it will actually could potentially destroy your quality score for desktop as well, since those are looped together. So you may have traditionally seen really good quality scores for your desktop targeted campaigns. If you're not giving people a good experience on tablet, those will start to plummet. So take some time, evaluate the experience you're giving people, look at your landing pages across all devices. And then the final thing you want to remember is just to ensure that everything is trustworthy and transparent. As Elliott explained earlier, this is so important to Google. They want people to trust them as a search engine. And so you need to make sure that if you're asking people for information, you're proving that it will be safeguarded and only used to their benefit. And the intent behind your site should be clear. You really want to make sure searchers feel good when they make it to your landing page. All right. So I'm sure a lot of people out there, particularly the 74% of you who are heavily focused on quality score as you manage your accounts, are thinking, okay, I've addressed some of the key components of quality score, but I'm still seeing low ratings. So remember, PPC is a journey, and improving your quality score does take time. A few things to keep in mind. Your quality score just won't change overnight. There needs to be statistically significant data in order for Google to bother recalculating your quality score. So you may make all these great changes, but until you see statistically significant info, Google will not reevaluate. Usually that takes about 4 to 6 weeks for an average account. So give it some time to play out. Also remember that if you have poor historical data, it may be impacting your current scores. So even if you restructure your account, your historical data is maintained, and Google still is allowing that to impact your quality scores. So you need to combat that, create a good account, prove to Google that you're doing a good job, and eventually that will counteract your poor historical data.
Definitely. I think the one key takeaway here is that this is something that you continuously have to work on, continuously have to improve, and don't just give up if you see it not pick up in the first week of trying to actually improve it. It is a journey. It's going to take a little bit of time.
But hopefully your hard work will pay off. It always does. Another thing to keep in mind, if you've heeded our advice and reevaluated your landing pages, you might not see that quality score automatically improve because it takes Google a little while to crawl your page. There's a bit of a lag time, and they're always using your most recent crawl to calculate your quality score. So if they crawled your page 6 weeks ago and you changed it 2 weeks ago, until they do that next crawl, you're not going to see the change. And then finally, and I think this is something a lot of people don't realize, keep in mind that all of the ads in your ad group are going to contribute to a keyword's quality score. So you might be doing really well in one ad group, but you have one ad that's lagging behind. That one ad could be destroying your quality score across keywords in the whole ad group. So if you have an ad that's not performing well, has really low click-through rates, you might want to eliminate it or really make some changes to ensure that ad is garnering better click-through rates, and that will make a big difference for you. All right. So I hope that that gives you guys kind of a good idea of how you can improve your quality scores. We do have products to help you do this. So
yes, definitely. If you guys have any questions, definitely reach out to us here at WordStream. That's what we are here for. We are a resource. Just want to let you know that we have some award-winning technology. We're definitely thought leaders in the industry, and we are all industry accredited here. We're all Google certified and Bing certified, so we'll be happy to answer any specific questions you guys might have. Let's see. There are definitely some tools available for you. We're not going to go into a ton of detail about them, but if you're interested in learning more, please give us a call, shoot us an email. That's what WordStream is focused. Our mission is to help small to medium-sized businesses improve the performance of their AdWords account, whether it be through resources like this in our resource center or some tools that make your life a little bit easier. And looks like we have a little bit of a special offer here at the end. If you're interested in a live demo, definitely one of our PPC advisors are more than welcome to kind of reach out and help you out with that. So let us know if you want to have a live demo, and unless Chris, if you want to kind of jump in here and kind of wrap this up, but Erin and I are finished.
Yeah.
Sure. We're actually going to hop into a quick Q&A session if you guys have some time here. I'll leave this poll question open, but I just really like to just encourage people to take us up on this offer, because the value of this is that you're not only going to get a live demo, but it's personalized to your account. So you can upload your account, you can see the changes, you can work with the PPC experts here, and you can really get expert advice on how to improve your account. So it's a great offer, very, very valuable. So I highly recommend you guys take us up on that. But we'll hop into we got a lot of questions from the attendees today. Thanks so much for sending them in. So if you guys have some time here, we're just going to walk through a couple questions. And if we don't get to your questions, like Elliott mentioned, please feel free to reach out to us, or if you have that hashtag that I gave at the beginning of the webinar, you can certainly reach out to us on social channels, and we'll try to answer your question as quickly as possible. So let's just jump right into it here. The first question we have is, isn't it true you can be placed in a top position just by bidding into the top position regardless of quality score?
So yes, the answer there is yes. If you bid very aggressively, you may be able to combat those low quality scores, but often it's much more worthwhile to focus on your quality scores, because let's be honest, you want to give people a good experience. You're not going to have people making purchases when they get to your site if they're coming through on bad landing pages, or they don't have a good experience throughout the entire search process. So yes, you can get the top position by bidding for it, but it doesn't necessarily you're going to get the good return on investment.
Definitely. Just to reiterate, remember there's two components to your ad rank, and that's what we're talking about here, top position. It's the same thing as your ad rank. It's quality score times your maximum bid. So you can definitely increase your bid, but it's not a very sustainable business model. And for people that are budget conscious, it's a very difficult path to move forward in. Here at WordStream, we really recommend and we focus on improving the quality score. It's kind of like, spending the extra hour after practice working on your free throws. Do the fundamentals properly, and it will pay off dividends throughout the life of your campaign.
Great, thanks guys. The next question we have here is, would a quality score of 1 indicate a penalty to my account?
Absolutely, 100%. That is Google telling you you are a liability to them and you are not doing your job. Therefore, you will absolutely be penalized, not just in terms of ad rank. As Elliott was explaining earlier, your quality score has an enormous impact on where you show up on the page. but also in terms of pricing. You will see higher CPCs than what you would see if you had a higher quality score.
Perfect answer. Got nothing else for it.
Great. So if you're going through your account and you're noticing that a lot of your keywords have low quality scores, should you delete them, or should you try, like how should you go about treating those specific keywords?
There's a couple different approaches, really. There's no really right answer here, and it's very business specific, in my opinion. You need to take a look at the keyword. If it's relevant, if it's something you do, then maybe we need to optimize it in different areas. Maybe we need to create a separate ad group, create a couple more keywords that are highly targeted to that one theme, write very specific ad text, and take that person to a great specific landing page. That would probably be my first approach. If you don't do that, or if you do that and it doesn't seem to be working for you, and it does have a significant amount of impressions, then maybe you want to think about deleting it. There are cases where you do want to delete keywords, but I would recommend trying to optimize it first.
Look, I'm all about deleting keywords when they're not good fit for your account, but you can't focus getting rid of a keyword just on one metric. You shouldn't solely be focused on quality score. If you're garnering conversions from that keyword and it has a low quality score, don't get rid of it. Focus on improving its quality score. So with PPC, every decision you make has to really be focused on the whole picture. So never just focus on quality score. It's an important metric. It's a good indicator of how you're doing. But it shouldn't be the only thing you're looking at when it comes to getting rid of a keyword.
It's all about relevancy.
Mm-hmm.
Great. So we're getting a lot of questions on how do you figure out what your negative keywords are, and does WordStream have any tools that can help me find negative keywords?
Got it. Great question. What you really need to do in the first place we recommend you start is to monitor your search term report. Your search term report is essentially showing you every single keyword out there that's been typed into Google that's triggered or your ad to show be an exact match or any sort of broad, modified broad, or phrase match. So these are all the words that the people out there in the real world are actually typing and that are triggering your ads to show. This is the first place you want to start. Then you can, knowing your business, scan that report very quickly and decide if this is a keyword that should be set as a negative. To follow up on the second part of that question, yes, WordStream does have a fantastic tool for this. To be honest, it's probably our most powerful and advanced tool, and it is the most favorite tool that people use. Mm-hmm. It's called the Query Stream, and if you do call in or you do send an email, you ask anybody here at WordStream about our tools, make sure to mention the Query Stream tool because you're going to love it because it makes this process very easy to do, and it actually helps you find some of these on your own.
I would piggyback on that to say, for those of you out there who have a lot of broad match terms, I challenge you to jump in to your search query report or to give us a call and look at the query stream. If you are bidding on broad match terms, I bet you money you will find good negatives in there. People are always shocked to see what they've been appearing for, how many non-qualified searchers they're paying to bring to their landing pages. And that's a terrible feeling. Like, I never want to look at my account and know I paid to bring somebody who isn't a good fit. So negative keywords are critical, and I would go the extra mile to find them, for sure.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Another question we have here is, how many different ad versions do you recommend having in each campaign?
Oh, well, I'm going to stop you right there. Don't think about it on the campaign level, guys. Think about it on the ad group level. For each of those small, tightly knit ad groups, you want at least 2 ads, never one. If you have one ad, you're never going to really know if it's doing well or not because you have nothing to compare it to. I set it about 2 to 3 ads. Those make it really easy to A/B test, find what's working, and then create new variations. I also, as a reminder, since we have just made that switch to enhanced campaigns, if your mobile bid adjustment is anything over -100, anything more than that, then you need to set 2 versions of mobile preferred ad text.
Perfect.
I think that, yeah.
Yeah. If you have upwards of 6 active ad groups, you might want to either think about breaking out into 2 separate campaigns, because it sounds like you might have a couple different themes there that you're trying to market to. So try to break down that ad group.
Awesome, guys. Thank you. Well, I think that's all the time we have for questions today. But like I said, if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to us. The sales line is on the screen right now. You can also reach out to Elliott or Erin with any questions that you have. WordStream also offers a free trial, and you can also run that AdWords Performance Grader. Both links are on the screen now. And again, thank you everyone for attending. We appreciate your time, and we look forward to having you on future webinars or talking to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much. Hope to talk to all you guys soon.